Hi everybody, it's Georgia Rose from Zencuda, and it is Sunday, February 9th at 9 a.m. And today's video is going to be about the full moon in Leo and also how to use the upcoming Mercury retrograde to live more powerfully. For those of you who are tuning in for the first time, these are a series of live videos on YouTube and Facebook Live that I usually do every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Been doing that for about a year now. And they usually are about how to empower ourselves through spirituality, astrology, and all kinds of modalities that we use in order to live a more powerful and fully merged life in our heart space and soul space. So thank you for welcome to the Zencuda Soul Space, if this is your first time. So as I said, today I want to talk about the full moon in Leo that just happened at 2:33 a.m. last night. And also I want to talk about the upcoming Mercury retrograde, which is in Pisces, because the Mercury retrograde really is the catalyst for a lot of energy for the month of February. It's like the major transit that's going on this month. So first, let's talk about the full moon. Hey, John, how are you doing? I know I'm off schedule. I didn't get to do my podcast on Thursday evening. Hi, Linda. Or my video on Tuesday nights, but we're going to resume that schedule this week. Just had some things I had to take care of this week with a very good friend of mine who suffered a very severe loss, so I was being fully present with her. But thank you guys for tuning in. I'm sure we'll have more people that join us as we go. So let's start with the full moon that happened last night around 2:30 a.m. I don't know if anybody got outside to see that beautiful sky. It was almost so illuminated it looked like the sun. So that was very, very powerful. The moon was very close to the earth, so that's why it was such an illumination. So full moons are usually times when things will have beginnings and endings. There are things when energy culminates into its truth. So many times things will be revealed during a full moon. The moon in our astrology chart is where our emotional body, our emotions take place. So full moons oftentimes can be a reactive or a responsive energy, depending on what sign they fall in. A full moon in the sign of Leo is energy that's best used for goal setting, accomplishment. Hi, Christine. It's an energy that is really beautiful to be used for really, I'm sorry, marrying your intention with your true ambition of your heart. So if you're going to do any kind of full moon rituals or contemplation or introspection with this energy of the Leo full moon, you want to go into your heart space. And what a really beautiful thing to do is, and to find that beautiful lion heart that we all have in each of us, is to very simply think about breathing through the heart. So go into that heart space, think of something, a time when you felt such joy that it just bubbled up from your heart and that heart chakra, that beautiful energy center. And breathe into that. Feel that heart space in the center of your chest. And when you inhale through that heart space and just let the energy come through. And that's very empowering. It automatically makes your energy and your nervous system come down into presence. And when we do that, hi, Nikki, hi, Cindy, hi, RJ. When we do that, it brings us to a place where we can truly be in the real truth and attach to our heart's desire and connect with that. And that's the energy of the Leo moon. So whether it's a goal you have in business or in your personal life, in relationship, or whether it's a goal you have for health or anything that you want to do in your life, this is a great energy that the universe is giving us through this beautiful Leo full moon to give us that courage, that heart of the lion, that determination and ambition. Leo is the sun. Leo loves to be in the spotlight. So think about your goals and the accomplishment that you're going to feel once you really step into the spotlight and attach your goal to the desire in your heart and make it truthful. The energy of the Leo full moon that is in the lesser empowerment, where we really don't want to go, is that king of the jungle, might is right kind of feeling. And there's a lot of that out in the universe right now. And that's really not the truth of who we are. We're really in that heart-based energy. And use your passion, your inner awakening to bring you forward into your goals in the truth and the authenticity of all the power that you have in your heart. And that's really what you want to do with this beautiful full moon in Leo energy. Hi, Paul John. Hi, Elisa. Rana. Okay, so Nikki, I want to talk about the Mercury retrograde that's coming up, because I know it's a few days away, but excuse me, I'm still a little depleted from all the energy I expended this week with a very serious situation. So moving forward, so bringing into the light. The Mercury retrograde, it really takes up a huge space of energy in February this month. And I feel like Mercury retrograde always gets a bad rep. People think during Mercury retrograde, we shouldn't make decisions. I actually just bought a car yesterday and do things, but that's really not what a Mercury retrograde is. What Mercury retrograde is not that the planet is going backwards. I know that's part of the bad rep it gets. What Mercury retrograde is the planet slows down and it feels like the energy is grinding or in conflict or in tension. And it is to a certain extent because the planet is moving slower than it would normally move around its natural orbit. So if you think about it, if you've ever been in a car and you go to park in a space and the car next to you is backing out and all of a sudden it feels like you're going backwards, but you're really not, that's a retrograde motion, and that's what the planets are doing. They're going so slow that it feels like they're going backwards as the Earth is rotating, but they're really not. They're just going slower than their normal orbit. So why do these retrogrades happen? And they happen with all the planets at one time or another. But retrogrades happen in order for the archetype or the personality or the energy of that planet to become slower and more intense. The intensity of the planet ramps up in order to give us the energy for introspection of that energy. Mercury is our minds, it's mercurial, it is computers, it's technology, it's communication, our speech, our email, our text, our technology that are communicative. So when Mercury slows down and goes retrograde, those things get glitchy. But they don't get glitchy because it's negative. They get glitchy, it's the universe saying, hey, over here, you need to pay more attention. So if you're doing travel plans or buying a car or signing a contract or closing on a home or making business goals or signing contracts with vendors or service providers or doing anything like that, you just want to read the fine print. You want to go over it more than once. If you're making travel plans, you want to really detail and structure. So why does this energy come in? To plug the cracks in where we have weaknesses. If you're not so present when you read your emails during a Mercury retrograde, the universe wants you to be more present and really read them thoroughly and focus on that moment. If you have a tendency to send text to the wrong person or have a tendency to miscommunicate through technology, Mercury retrograde slows down to give us the opportunity to improve those habits and become more introspective about how we can improve our communication. So you can see how every part of the zodiac and every part of astrology can really be used to empower our life if we understand the energy. So that's really the purpose of a Mercury retrograde. And then, of course, this particular Mercury retrograde has some aspects coming into it to make it extremely hyped up and intense, which I'm going to go into. And hopefully by the end of this video, you're going to have a great plan in order to really use the energy of these beautiful transits that are coming up through the retrograde of Mercury to really empower your life. So whether that's business or personal, professional, relationship-wise, let's see what we can do. So first of all, communication and technology kind of breaks down. There's some nervous tension, travel delays, maybe you lose items, things like that happen during Mercury retrograde. But there's ways to prevent that. And the way to prevent that is for us to slow down, become more focused on those things, especially if you have tasks at hand like travel that you have to do or a lecture you have to prepare for or technology that you have to utilize for important communication. You want to really make sure that you go over that twice before you hit send and things like that. And also on your posts, the other thing a Mercury retrograde will do is make us impulsive. Mercury retrograde will be the time when you come home with the purple Corvette instead of the white Chevrolet. We don't think enough during a Mercury retrograde to prevent those mishaps from happening. And that's really what the planet wants us to do. Hi, Enza. Hi, Tarianne. Okay, so it's going into the shadow period already. It went into shadow, which is what we call the period of time when it starts to slow down. The terms that we use in astrology for a retrograde is first the planet is in shadow, and that's when it starts to slow. And then it stations when it's actually at the retrograde point where it hits the speed that it is in a retrograde. That's called it stations at a certain degree. So it's in its shadow period, which starts around the 2nd of February. So we're in that now. The actual retrograde doesn't start until February 16th, but you're probably going to start feeling it because this is intense. It's in the sign of Pisces. So the aspect for this particular Mercury retro is when it's first in shadow, the last few days or the next couple of days, you're going to get an idea of what will arise during the Mercury retrograde. For instance, yesterday, I was out and about accomplishing a lot of things that I didn't get to all week. And I went to buy gas for the car and my debit card wouldn't work. And the attendant came back and he's like, this card's no good. And I'm like, what are you talking about? The card's no good. The card's fine. So I said, maybe something happened. So I went down the road to CVS and tried to use it for a few items. And sure enough, it didn't go through. So I went to the bank and I said, I don't understand why the card doesn't work. And he looked at everything, the teller, and everything was fine. Nothing was, no cyber theft or anything like that. For some reason, the card just shut off. That's the kind of things that will happen during a Mercury retrograde. So now that was my trigger to say, okay, we're starting the shadow period and I'm having trouble with my bank card and some financing. So now I know I'm going to watch my accounts. I'm going to really reconcile my bank statement. I'm going to watch where I spend every penny because the universe is hitting that area of my life and my chart with this Mercury retrograde. So think about the glitches that you've had in the last couple of days or where that energy is forming tension in your life. That is the indicator of where this retrograde is probably going to hit over the next couple of weeks. It actually is in retrograde from 2/16 until March 9th. So February 16th to March 9th is the actual retrograde. It's in shadow now and until the 29th of March. So think about that. So now February 16th starts the retrograde. Mercury is going to hit Pisces at 12 degrees. So anywhere Pisces is in your chart, whatever house that affects, is where you will have the tension of the Mercury retrograde. You can get a free chart online at astro.com or cafeastrology.com and look at where the sign of Pisces falls. It will look like a big pizza pie cut into 12 slices. Each one of those slices is a house, and each house represents something. Like the first house is the house of self. The second house is the house of money and things you value. Third house is communication, siblings, neighbors. Fourth is family, and so on. And if you need any help, you can always message me and I'll let you know. So what happens on the 16th when Mercury starts to retrograde in Pisces is it squares the moon. And as I said in the beginning of the broadcast, the moon is our emotions. When a Mercury retrograde squares our emotions, that can mean that sometimes it'll cause tension and glitches in emotional areas of our life, depending on where it falls in your chart. But it's also conjuncting a fixed star in the sky. And that fixed star is Antares. And Antares, it's actually not conjuncting, it's actually in transit with it. But not to get too technical for those people who don't follow astrology, Antares is a fixed star that's known as the heart of the Scorpion. And what it is it also amplifies our heart-based desire and energy. And that was really significant for me when I was reading the charts because we just had a full moon in Leo, which is all heart-based energy and our authentic desire. And so the higher octave of Leo anyway. The lower octave of Leo is the egotism, the I want to be the boss. When, I really don't know how to be the boss, but I'm just going to, pound my chest and right is might. That's the negative octave, the lower octave of Leo. The higher octave is following your heart and realizing that you have this beautiful lion heart in order to project your light onto the world and really follow your desires. So we have that energy coming in on the full moon right before the energy of this beautiful Mercury retrograde squaring the moon and transiting the beautiful fixed star Antares, and that Antares star being the heart of the Scorpion. And that's intensity. That is deep fixation on focus, on things that we love. In the negative octave, the lower octave of it obviously is obsession, right? But the higher octave is taking that focus of what would normally be an obsession and focusing it to really, really, really focus on your goals. So the universe is giving us this amazing energy for goal accomplishment, but the true, authentic goals that we really want in our life, not the superficial, false authority goals that we follow, So it's doing that. And then what's going to happen is that energy, the reason why we're getting so much heart-based energy, and that's why if you start to feel overwhelmed or anything, it's good to do the exercise I was just talking about, breathing through the heart, because that will immediately bring you down to your focus and presence. So the reason why we're getting all this heart-based energy is to bring us into our purpose, to bring us into the authenticity of who we really are in our lives and who we really want to be, and shining that light on those goals. And that's really where our true power emerges. And then, as if that isn't enough, the universe gives us even more energy to push us forward in that. And what happens is Venus enters Aries on February 16th, the same day as the Mercury retrograde. Aries is an energy of fire. Again, Leo is a fire sign, Aries is a fire sign. So we have a full moon beginning of the month in a beautiful fire sign, Leo, all heart-based energy. Then we start a Mercury retrograde, which triggers the moon and the beautiful star Antares, which is deep heart of the Scorpion, intense heart-based energy. And then Venus goes into Aries. Venus is the planet of love and desire. Venus is the planet of the things we value most. It doesn't just have to be romantic love, which it is, but it can also be the love of our heart's desire, something we really want, that burning desire in us, that awakening passion that brings us forward, whether you're a stockbroker who loves to trade, or a realtor who loves to sell, or a carpenter who loves to build. That's your heart passion being a vocation in your life. And Venus in Aries is all about that. Venus in Aries is propulsion. It's moving forward. It's attacking the goal. It is bringing in that passion and awakening that truly is your desire for accomplishment in your life, where when you go to sleep at night, you envision yourself to be and then manifest that. And so that planet is coming in to really, really combine with Antares and the full moon that we had to set off the beginning of the month. That Venus planet energy is coming in to really heighten all of this for us. So then the other gift that the universe gives us is, if that's not enough, that the universe is saying, hey, you can do this, you got this, accomplish your goal, move forward, make a plan, work it. Then we have this beautiful fiery energy of Mars in Capricorn coming in. And Capricorn is an earth sign. And Mars is very fiery. Mars in our chart is our desire to move forward. Mars is the energy in a lower octave that creates wars and makes us angry. But in the higher octave, that's assertion, right? Did you ever get so angry about something that it put you in the frame of mind that you were just going to go out and do what you had to do once and for all? You were going to accomplish it, whether that was when you were a kid passing your SATs or hitting the football over the goalpost or getting that promotion at work or making the sale quota you wanted to make. Sometimes anger is the propulsion for that, because if we can turn anger into healthy assertion, we really find a way to accomplish what we thought we couldn't do before, right? And Mars is that energy in the higher octave. So that's really, really all the energy coming in. This is maximum efficiency, because Mars in Capricorn is an energy that pairs that beautiful fire of being able to do what we really want to do with our daily routine. So this month is the most fabulous month of the year for changing your daily routine to really be in the intention of what your long-term goal is. So you're going to marry daily routine with long-term goals. And that is the best use of this Mercury retrograde. If anything comes in glitchy, sit for a moment, think about that, and ask yourself, what is this showing me? What is this telling me? Where in my life do I have cracks in my driveway that I need to get out the seal coat and clean them up in order to be a more powerful person? Because we all have cracks. We all have things in our life that are bad habits, or whether they're habitually or in the moment that we do repetitively. And this is a great energy for finally closing those cracks, whether that's finally becoming healthy, whether it's making a relationship in your life reconciled, whether it's finally getting to another level of a career goal. This energy, we've got Mars, Venus, the full moon kicked off the month, a Mercury retrograde in Pisces, shaking us out of our complacency. This great energy to move forward and do what we have to do. So if anybody has any questions, happy Sunday to you too, Kathy. Thanks for joining us. Nancy, I haven't talked to you in a while. It's great. Christina Fay, yeah, no, you might not want to do that, Christina. And Rona says you'll be packing and moving during that time. That's awesome, because during that time, Rona, is going to be really, you'll probably have a lot more energy. Usually during a Mercury retro, we kind of lose energy a little bit. But in this Mercury retrograde, we've got Venus and Mars pushing us forward. So we're going to have a lot of energy to accomplish our goals. Just don't fall into, and this is for everybody, myself included, let's not fall into the energy of Pisces. Sometimes can be a victim. If you find things going really glitchy, we have that Murphy Law kind of day where everything goes wrong. Try and stay in the higher octave of, what is this teaching me? What do I need to tweak, fix, improve, reconcile in my life? Don't go into the woe is me. That's the lower energy of Pisces. Mercury and Pisces especially on a retrograde, can be an energy that sometimes is self-sacrificing, you know, throwing ourselves on the train track so the train can roll over us and giving up. That is not what you want to do in this energy, because the universe always responds to our intention. Paul John says he was listening to me in a car and this big SUV was going to miss their exit and cut me off, almost causing what would be a huge accident. As per your lecture, I will be extra careful when driving over this retrograde period. Absolutely, Paul John. That's the other thing. When we have Mercury retrogrades, that's when our cars break down, our batteries go dead, things like that. And I know for those of you out there who don't follow astrology, that might sound a little odd, but let's face it, everything is electricity, right? Whether you see it or not, it is. So you definitely want to be extra careful. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Regina. So make sure when you're out there driving, you know, don't go as fast as you usually do. Slow down and look everywhere. I know Kim was saying that she had a near miss last night too. That's definitely the Mercury retrograde. You know, it gets a bad rap, Mercury retro, because things happen and we aren't prepared for them. You know, the plane gets delayed. We're sitting in an airport for 3 hours, etc. But maybe that was meant to happen so that you sit and read a certain book or talk to a certain friend or have an experience that you wouldn't have normally had. That's the way we have to look at it. Remember, life doesn't happen to us. It happens for us to bring us to a higher octave and a higher octave and a higher octave. That's called the evolution of our soul. And that's what Zenkuda is all about, right? So sweep the porch clean, get rid of all those cracks. You know, you want to seal it, prep it, paint it, make it beautiful so that you can sail through this Mercury retrograde. Maximum efficiency with Mars in Capricorn. You want to marry your daily routine to your long-term goals, even if that's just doing a little something every day towards that long-term goals, and write them down. Have a vision board. Use your electronic media, your Facebook, your Instagram, your Pinterest as a vision board. You know, too many times I see people putting a lot of their pain on Facebook and a lot of their pain on Instagram. You don't want to do that. You're telling the universe to give you more pain. Use those medias as beautiful vision boards for the goal and the life and the ideal life that you want to manifest for yourself. All right. So if anybody has any specific questions, I can answer them really quick. And then we're all going to start our Sunday and make this a day where we really accomplish a lot. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Elaine. I hope everybody's doing great. And I just want to thank you. I know some of our beautiful spiritual community, you know that we had a tragedy this week with one of our beautiful soul sisters who had a very great loss. And I want to thank you all for coming out. The amount of prayers and the amount of energy that was expended from all the healers in our community and everyone was so unbelievably fantastic. I really don't have a word for it. I think we're going to have to make up a word. But thank you so much for that. And I know my friend obviously thanks you. We all thank each other. So the best use of this beautiful energy of the full moon, the Mercury retrograde, Venus going into Aries, Mars going into Capricorn, the whole month of February is all about standing in your power, setting intentions to push past your fear or your barriers, because we are so powerful when we do that. And if you need a private reading or any advice or healing, please just step into the soul space community that is Zenkuda, and you can always message me here or reach me at connect@zenkuda.com. You can find me on Facebook here, Instagram at Zenkuda Official, and of course on YouTube, Zenkuda, where there are lots of videos about astrology, spirituality, live tarot readings, all kinds of things. And in closing, what I want to say is I will be back for my live Facebook 7 p.m. Tuesday and my podcast Thursday night on govsradio.com. Just missed last week, which I've never done before because, as I said, we had some things going on that were much more important. Enza says, cell phone always not working, need a new phone. What should I do? I guess get a new phone, Enza, not to be flip, but it might also be your energy. Maybe there's something that you're really, need to let the energy flow through you. Oh, Kathy says, when are we having coffee? Whatever you call me, Bill. And Enza, that's my friend. Yes, we love Kat Mayer. Yes, please. We could all just take a minute, since I have so many people in the community this morning. Let's just take a minute, whether it's after I sign off or now. And please just, beautiful white, violet light. Let's just send it out to our friend Kat Mayer this morning and just give her some beautiful heart energy. Okay, because I know that she really needs that. So thank you so much. Connect with your inner light. That's what this is all about. Thank you, and I'll talk to you guys Tuesday night. Bye-bye. Have a great Sunday. It's beautiful. Sun's out.